الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم ارزقنا يا ربي فهم النبيين وحفظ المرسلين وإلهام الملائكة المقربين في عافية يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم افتح علينا فتوح العارفين وفقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل واهدنا إلى سواء السبيل. يا فتاح يا عليم، يا فتاح يا عليم، يا فتاح يا عليم، افتح علينا فتحا كريما. اللهم إنا نسألك العلم اللدني ومشرب الصافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نويت التعلم والتعليم والتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم والدعاء إلى الهدى ودلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله مرضاته بقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. So Alhamdulillah, welcome back after 1 week break to the Arabic classes. So inshallah ta'ala today we will continue doing our Sorf as usual. So we will start our lessons with Sorf. We will do about half an hour to 40 minutes of Sorf, and then we'll go on to the lessons from Madinah. Right. So in the last lesson, the last thing that we did was the Sorf, okay, for all the Dhamir, the Dhama'ir, relating to past tense verbs. So in the last lesson, we did kataba. So kataba, as what we mentioned before, whenever you express an Arabic noun, express it in its asal, okay? Its asal, which is the fi'l madi, okay, for ghaib, mufrad, mudhakkar, so which means that it is for a third person who is a single male. Yeah, we would say huwa, that's the dhamir. So he, kataba. And then we would say kataba and yaktubu, okay, yaktubu. So we would express it in this manner, okay, kataba yaktubu. And why do we do this? Because this is how it is expressed in the dictionaries, in the books of tafsir. So whenever they want to talk about a verb or the origins of a word, they would actually express it, whatever type of writers, whether they be linguists or they be grammarians, they be mufassirin, ulama of tafsir. This is how they would express it. Okay, they would first present it to you in the fi'l madi, okay, fi'l madi for mudhakkar, mufrad, ghaib, and then the fi'l mudhari, okay, the fi'l mudhari for the same form, okay. So that's why we express it like this. And then we did the tasrif, okay, we did the tasrif, we did the saraf, we morphed the kataba into all the different dhama'ir, okay, all the different pronouns from huwa until nahnu. So today, inshallah ta'ala, we will do the same for fi'l mudhari, okay, for fi'l mudhari. طيب. Yeah. So we would do the same for fi'l mudhari. So the fi'l mudhari has one feature about it, and then is it always has something attached to it, which we call the mudara'a. Okay, the mudara'a. Okay, what is a mudara'a? A mudara'a is the addition or the suffixation of a harf, okay, of one huruf prior to the original fi'l, okay, original fi'l form. We would add on a huruf which do not, okay, which is basically, okay, any one of these four huruf. It doesn't go off any of these, okay? So you don't have to think whether we can add a ba, or we can add a sin, or we can add a mim in front. No, when we talk about a mudhari, that means you always have to add something to it in front, and it comes in the form that we mentioned as anaitu. This is basically how the grammarians express it. Okay, so this is their what we call it in English. This is abbreviation. Okay, an abbreviation anaitu. Okay, because it represents the four huruf that are added to the mudhari. Okay, and I also mentioned that for ana and nahnu, okay, so for I and we, so for a speaker's voice, we only add these two, okay, and this is the only place where we use these two. So for the rest of the fi'l forms, we would add either a ta or a ya in front of it. Okay, so if you are new to this and you have to think about what to add to a fi'l, the original form of the fi'l, okay, you can discount these two and just focus on the ya and the ta. Okay, type. So let's do it, inshallah ta'ala. So we've already mentioned that ana and nahnu. Okay, ana is aktubu and nahnu is naktubu. So you can see that we've added the alif, or maybe more accurately the hamza, okay, in front of the asal of the fi'l, and here we've added the nun to the asal of the fi'l. Okay, so now when I say aktubu, I'm saying I write, and when I say naktubu, I'm saying we write. Okay, so now we'll do the same for the rest, inshallah ta'ala. So yaktubu, huwa yaktubu, huma, for two people, okay? So we're talking about two men, okay? Two men who wrote or who are writing something. So we'll do the same. Okay, so we'll still, okay, so we'll still express the fi'l in its mudhakkar mufrad ghaib form, okay, but we'll add an alif at the end and a nun. Okay, so huma yaktubani, huma yaktubani. So what we've added here, this alif, is something that grammarians call, this is alif al-ithnain. Okay, the alif that indicates that there's two people that we're talking about here. Okay, aliful ithnain. So huma yaktubani. So when we say yaktubani, okay, so we're referring to Ali. Okay, Ali and Ahmad. Okay, Ali wa Ahmad yaktubani. They are writing. Okay, right? Ali wa Ahmad yaktubani kitaban ma'an. So Ali and Ahmad, they both of them are writing a book together. Right? And if one more person joins them, Ali, Ahmad, and Umar, three of them, they are writing. All three of them are writing. Then we would say Ali, Ahmad, wa Umar, yaktubuna. Okay. Yaktubuna. And what have we added to what was originally yaktubu? Okay, yaktubu, which is the fi'l mudhari for mudhakkar mufrad ghaib. Okay, so for a single male who is a third person in this speech, okay, we have added a wow here. Okay, and this wow is an indicator of jama'. Okay, that there's more than three or more people that we are talking about. Okay, so hum yaktubuna, hum yaktubunal kitaba. Okay, so all of them, they are writing the book. Okay, hum yaktubunal kitaba ma'an, they are all writing the book together. Okay. Right, so that's it for males, third person males. Okay, that's it for third person males. Now we'll do third person females. Okay, third person females. So the addition, okay, for a single female, who is not present in the conversation, so a third person female, a single female. Okay, so this is for muannath. Okay, muannath, mufrad, ghaib. So what would we add? We would add a ta in front. Okay, here taktubina, here taktubina. Okay, here taktubina. So the huruf of mudara'a that we've added in this case is a ta. Okay, and this ta points to the fact that we are speaking about a female. Okay, and we've also added something at the end, which is a ya at the end. And this ya is also an indicator of mu'annatha. Okay, so you can see that from the asal, okay, when going back to the third person males, we add something at the end. Okay, we add alif ithnain if it's dual. We add a waw al-jama'. Okay, the waw that indicates that this is more than 3 people at the end. Okay, for home. And now we go into the female forms. We say taktubina. So other than the mudara'a, you look at the end, there's something that we add as well. So the thing that we add is a ya, which is an indicator of mu'annatha. Okay, and this ya will always be there. You will see that in this form and in the other forms, there's also another addition, the noons. Okay, all these noons are ziyada. That means they are addition. Okay, they are suffix. Again, they are suffix to the word. Again, they are suffix to the word, and they might disappear from time to time depending on where that word appears in the sentence. Okay, so it may or may not be there. But as I mentioned, this year, it will always be there. Okay. Later, when we start doing Nahu, then you will see when the noons disappear. Okay. And the suffixes, they remain. Right? Okay. So now I've made a mess of this. So let's just, let me just clear this a little bit again, so that it doesn't look too messy. Okay. Yep. taktuna. Then this one is, sorry, this is, sorry, this is here. Here is taktubu. Sorry. Okay, there's no addition at the end. This is here. Here is taktubu. Afwan. Okay, so there's no suffix. There's just a prefix. Okay, there's just a prefix. There's no suffix. If it's a second person, there would be a suffix. Okay, so here taktubu. Right. So huma. Okay, huma. So now we go to the dual. Okay, for female. So the dual for female, you do exactly the same thing. You add that suffix alif at the end. So one person, taktubu, here taktubu. If two females, okay, Zainab and Fatima, they jointly write a book, we would say taktu. Taktuban. Taktuban. Okay. So likewise, okay, when we are doing the third person males, okay, we add an alif and nun, okay, to the form in huwa. So likewise, for the huma, if we are talking about two females, we would also add an alif and a nun at the end. So we would suffix the what the origin, or maybe what we can say that what this huma came from. Okay, a third person female. Okay, third person female, singular female, taktubu. So we add an alif wa nun, it becomes taktubani. And this alif again is an indicator of ithnain, of two people. Okay, taktubu, taktubani. Okay, and then, okay, so this is what it is. So for multiple, okay, multiple females, okay, if there's more than two females who are writing together, so what do? We have seen that in the progression for male, yeah, we take the original, okay, we take the original, and then we add alif wa nun to make it dual. Okay, we take the original and then we add waw wa nun to make it plural. Okay, so in this progression for females, okay, we've done this. Okay, taktubu, so to make it dual, we've added the alif wa nun to make it dual. Okay, so do we add on from here also a waw wa nun? So we don't do that. Okay, we don't do that for jama. Okay, for jama females. Rather, what do? We take this one. Okay, we take this one. So we still do. Okay, yak. Yaktubna. Okay, so we do this instead. Right? We do yaktubna. Okay, yaktubna. So it actually looks like this. Okay, it actually looks like this, but there is no wow. Okay, there is no wow. Yeah, there is no wow here. Rather, we eliminate the wow. Okay, and actually this wow is somewhat represented in this wow. Okay, so yaktubna. Right? So that's what we do. Okay, yaktubna. We flow on from there. Okay, so it's almost like the progression for the male third person the third person males. Okay, but for plural females, okay, we don't add the waw wa nun, we don't add the wawul jama', rather we will just add the nun at the end, and this nun we call it nun niswa. Okay, this is a nun that indicates that we are talking about a female. Okay, so that's it for third person females. Okay, so we just pause for a while. Does anybody have any questions? Fadal?
For me, the known for the male.
Sorry?
Give me answer. Hello.
Yeah, Fadal.
But it's so if for the female, so the known is referred to as a known niswa. And then for the male, the aliful name and wawul jama'. But is there anything that we use to refer to the known for the male?
To the nun. What do we refer to the nun? I don't know if it has a proper name to it, but we just call it nun ziyada, nun zaida. Okay.
Okay.
Nun az-zaida.
I see. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, this is nun niswa. Right. So, right. Right. So we'll move on. Okay. So my wife believes that there's a name for it. We'll look it up if there's any other name for it, but I don't remember ever learning a name, you know, that there's a name that refers to. We'll move on. If I find a name, I'll let you know. Okay. Type. So now we're going to all these are second person. Okay, all these are second person pronouns. Okay, so we start with anta. Okay, anta is a second person male. Okay, mufrad, so it's singular. So anta, if I'm talking to someone and you are the one who's writing a book, what would I do? I would add this prefix ta. Okay, anta taktubu. Anta taktubu. Okay, anta taktubu, and you would notice, okay, from the progression that this actually looks similar to this. Yeah, anta and huwa look similar, and we went through also when we were doing only the singulars, yeah, that they are exactly the same, and we would only know whether we are talking about here or anta from the context. Okay, because we know the context of the sentence, and then we'll figure out whether it relates back to a third person female or a second person male. Okay, that is an exercise that is done in Arabic, and in fact one of the benefits of learning this is actually being able to benefit from qira'ats. Okay, if you learn qira'ats of the Quran, you know that there are places where Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's words are sometimes read with a ta, and sometimes it is read with a ya in certain qira'ats. Okay, let me just pull up my phone. Yeah, for example, it's actually very interesting. Okay, so this is one of the benefits that you get from learning Saraf, learning Arabic in general. You know, like for example, very common surah. Okay, this ayat from Surah Al-A'la. Okay, this ayat from Surah Al-A'la. Bal tu'thiruna al-hayat ad-dunya. This is how we recite it. Huh? Bal tu'thiruna al-hayat ad-dunya. But there is also recitations that recite this particular ayat with bal yu'thiruna al-hayat ad-dunya. Okay, bal yu'thiruna al-hayat ad-dunya. So the mufassirin, they will discuss, okay, whether this relates to fulan or this relates to fulana. Okay, and when they write the tafsir, you know, they write it with both possibilities. So sometimes you will find in the books of tafsir that let's say if a particular ayat has two different interpretations, you know, with regards to what it relates to originally, it may not necessarily be because of a hadith that is relating to it. It could be actually also purely linguistics. Okay, bal tu'thiruna al-hayat ad-dunya and bal yu'thiruna al-hayat ad-dunya. So it depends. What are we talking about? Are we talking about hayat ad-dunya or the dunya, or we're talking about something else? Yeah, something something else that is related to the dunya, but maybe it comes in a mudhakkar form. You know, a mudhakkar which is jama'. So this is something that is touched upon by the mufassirin. So this is something that you will benefit from when you learn saraf. Okay. Baik. Nun af'alul hams. Okay. So you heard that, Shanawas? The yeah, af'alul khams. So that's the five fa'al, the five fa'al forms that actually take this nun za'idah. Okay. 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 So alhamdulillah, so inshallah ta'ala we'll move on. So that's for anta if I'm talking to a male person in front of me. And for antuma, okay, antuma, we would do the same. So do the same progression. What did we add? Okay, after yaktubu, we added alif wa nun to make it dual. So likewise, okay, for a second person, we also add on, okay, we also add on alif wa nun, okay, to make it third person, okay. So antuma taktubani, anta Ali wa anta Ahmad. Okay, antuma taktubani al-kitaba. So that's how we would present it. Okay, taktubani, we add an alif wa nun to the anta to make antuma. Okay, and likewise follow that same progression. Okay, follow that same progression as we did for third person males. Okay, we would add tak to buna. Taktubuna. So we would add the wawul jama'. Okay, so the progression is the same. Okay, when we go from yaktubu, third person, we start with the singular. Dual, we add alif wa nun. For jama', we add waw wa nun. So likewise, for second person, we do the same thing. Okay, taktubu, for dual, we add alif wa nun, becomes taktubani. For jama', we add waw wa nun, it becomes taktubuna. Okay, so this is second person male. Okay, and then for anti, second person female, singular. So this is mu'annath, mufrada, ghaiba. What do we do? taktubina. Okay, taktubina. Anti taktubina. Okay, anti taktubina. So this was just now what I actually jumped the gun a little bit. Okay, I went to the anti. Okay, so this is the one where we have the ya of muannatha added. Okay, anti taktubina. So anta, we say taktubu. You see the progression from anta taktubu. So anti, likewise, I'm addressing you. The thing that distinguishes anta from anti here is the ya muannatha. Okay, and this noon is ziyada. It's just something that is added on. Okay. Anti taktubina. So now what happens when we want to do a second person dual, you know, a second person dual for female? What do we add on? Okay, so we ignore this two. Okay, we ignore this two. We go back to the asal taktubu, but we add the alif wanun. Okay, taktubani. So the dual for male and female are exactly the same. Okay, antuma for male, taktubani. Antuma for female is also taktubani. Right? And then for antunna, what do we do? Okay, so for antunna, we do likewise. Okay, like what we did. Okay, what we did here. Okay, we took not from the, we didn't progress from huma to hunna, but rather we said that actually you take the form from the hua, and then instead of adding waw and nun, okay, you just sukunize. Okay, you just put a sukun. You eliminate the waw, and then you make the ba into a sakina. Okay, and then you add the nun at the end. Oh, okay, so likewise for antunna, we would do the same. We would take from anta. Okay, we would take from anta, and then we do tak. Let me just move this out because this is getting a little bit overcrowded. Anta tak tubna. Okay, anta tak tubna. Okay, so that's how we morph. Not morph. Sorry, we morph. Okay, we morph the fi'al mudhari. Okay, that's how we morph the fi'al mudhari. So we do it like this. Okay, yaktubu, yaktubani, yaktubuna, taktubu, taktubani, taktubna, taktubu, taktubani, taktubuna, taktubina, taktubani, taktubna, aktubu, naktubu. Okay, so practice it and then relate it back to the dhamir. Okay, you just have to do this with every new fi'al that you learn. Okay, and then inshallah ta'ala you'll get a little bit of speed and you'll go towards developing mastery inshallah ta'ala in Sorf. Okay, طيب. Any questions? Fadal. You see, this looks quite messy now. I'll send you a neater version so that actually it's easier for you to copy and to eliminate what do you call that? To just to use lah. Okay, to use for other fi'al. Okay. Right. Any questions? Okay, one thing that you have to remember whenever you're doing this exercise is remember that we talked about this early on in our lessons. I mentioned that there is something that you have to refer to a dictionary. You know, there's something from the VL forms that you have to refer to a dictionary in order to find out what the shakal is. There, 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 there. Okay, there's something that you have to refer to a dictionary in order to find out what it is, and that is the Ainul Fa'al. Okay, the Ainul Fa'al. So this Ainul Fa'al, okay, you have to refer to a dictionary for every word form, okay, unless of course you've grown in experience and then you know what it actually is without referring to a dictionary. You know, otherwise you actually have to refer to a dictionary to know what shakal distinct. Okay. And the thing about this is that when you are doing, okay, the saraf, okay, the saraf of al mudhari, you have to remember that whatever the ainul fa'al is, okay, for the fa'al mudhari form, because remember we talked about the fa'ala, okay, the fa'al madhi that comes in fa'ala, there are three possibilities. It can be fa'ala yaf'alu, fa'ala yaf'ulu, and fa'ala yaf'ilu. Okay. So once you've determined what it is, in this case a dhamma, you know, when you do your saraf for your fa'al mudhari, you know that the ainul fa'al must always follow that shakal. Okay. So if it's a dhamma, it's a dhamma throughout. Okay. So if I were doing something else, okay, like for example, I'm doing jalasa yajlisu, jalasa yajlisu, yajlisu. Okay, so if I'm doing jalasa yajlisu, so I would morph it the same way. This one, I've determined it to be a kasra, so it will have to be kasra all the way. So it would be, for example, for jalasa yajlisu, it would be yajlisu, yajlisani, yajlisuna. Okay. Tajlisu, tajlisani, tajlisuna. Okay. Tajlisu, tajlisani, tajlis, tajlisu, tajlisani, tajlisna, tajlisu, tajlisani, tajlisuna, tajlisina, tajlisani, tajlisna. Okay. Ana ajlisu wa nahnu najlisu. So it will follow through. Okay, it will follow through like that. Right? So just determine what it is, and then you write it down, and then you vocalize it, inshallah ta'ala. It'll get better as you go along. Okay. So yajlisu, yajlisani, yajlisuna, tajlisu, tajlisani, tajlisuna, tajlisu, tajlisani, tajlisuna, tajlisina, tajlisani, tajlisna, tajlisna, ana ajlisu, nahnu najlisu. So just practice that, and inshallah ta'ala it'll get easier for you. Okay. Right. Questions? I think I said that wrong. Yeah, I said that yajlisu, yajlisani, yajlisuna, yajlis, tajlisu, tajlisani, yajlisna, tajlisu, tajlisani, tajlisuna, tajlisina, tajlisani, tajlisna, ajlisu, najlisu. طيب. Questions? Okay, if there are no questions, I gave your homework, right, to do, and I think only 2 people submitted the homework to me. So this one, actually, you have to do. Okay, you have to do it. You have to do the exercise. You know, you have to write it down and you have to vocalize it. And this is actually good for you. Okay, so you can refer to the videos, and you can refer to some of the videos that I've sent you also. So do this exercise. Okay, just do this exercise on a clean sheet. Again, on a clean sheet, you can download it from the shared drive, the drive that I shared with you. you will see Arabic, a file called Arabic verb charts. Okay, so you just use that and then you do the saraf. Okay, for both fi'il madi and fi'il mudari. Okay. You do one. Okay, you do one for fataha. Okay. Fataha, yaftahu. Okay, you do one fataha yaftahu. This is with a fatha on the ainul kalima, and then you do another one kataba yaktubu. Kataba yaktubu. Okay, this is a dhamma on the ainul kalima, and then you do it another one jalasa yajlisu. Yajlisu. This is a kasra on the ainul kalima. Okay, so you do this and then you take these three verbs and then you fill in the boxes. Okay, fill in the boxes, morph it according to the structure that we shared with you just now. Okay, okay, so it's very important that you do this homework, because it'll give you strength, inshallah ta'ala, as you go on in your learning, okay, in learning the Arabic language. Okay, any questions? Okay, no questions. You can think about your questions. You can send it to me via PM, or you can ask in the group. We'll move on to Madina Reader, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. So we've done this lesson in Madina Reader the last time we met, and we'll just go through it again. So this lesson is by and large about something that we call mudhaf ilayh. Okay, mudhafun ilayh. Okay, so this is something that we call mudhaf and mudhaf ilayh. Okay, the mudhaf, okay, is the possessor. Okay, is the possessor. The the mudhaf is the thing possessed, and the mudhafun ilayhi is the possessor. Okay, is the possessor. So for example, if you look at the first mudhaf ilayhi that's being introduced here, Kitabu Muhammadin. Okay, Kitabu Muhammadin. So the whole points of this exercise is to teach you how to say something that equates roughly to apostrophe S or off in the English language. Okay, and I mentioned previously that I would prefer using the translation of, even though it looks somewhat off, okay, with two Fs, okay, somewhat off when we pronounce it in English, because it actually helps you to relate back to the Arabic form. Okay, so Kitabu Muhammadin, okay, Kitabu Muhammadin means, okay, we have two words here. Okay, Kitab and Muhammad. Okay, Kitab and Muhammad. So Kitab is the mudhaf. Okay, so this is the mudhaf. Okay, and Muhammadin is the mudhafun ilayh. Okay, is the mudhafun ilayh. So the object is the kitab, mudhaf, the thing possessed. Who is the possessor of this thing? It is Muhammad. Okay, mudhafun ilayh. Okay, Kitabu Muhammadin means Muhammad's kitab, and the reason why I said I prefer you to use of is because this is how it is actually arranged in the Arabic language. The book of Muhammad. Okay, so it is the book of Muhammad. So remember that whenever we want to put of or apostrophe s, of course I said I prefer of. Okay, so whenever we want to put of something, okay, we use this word form which is called mudaf ilay. Okay, mudafun ilay. Right? So there are several features of this mudaf ilay, and it is actually explained in the book itself. Later on in the book, okay, they will explain to you the there's a section that actually explains the what you need to have, okay, in order to present two words in mudaf ilay form. Okay, so they've used this word form or rather this word Kitabu Bilalin, Bilal's book, or maybe we should say the book of Bilal. Okay, Kitabu Bilalin, okay, the book of Bilal, or this one, okay, Baitul Imami, Baitul Imami. So the author, he says in Kitabu Bilalin, the first word is the thing possessed. Okay, so this is the thing possessed. We call it mudaf. The second word, Bilal, in this case, or al-imam, is the possessor. And this possessor, we call it mudafun ilay. Okay, so take note, he says that the mudaf takes neither the definite or indefinite article. And I mentioned in the last lesson that actually this is this is there's a couple of ways to look at it, okay, because what we said is that the tanwin drops off from the original word for the mudaf. Okay, so instead of saying kitabun, we would say kitabu. Okay, kitabu. Why? Okay, because the author says it takes neither definite nor indefinite. Okay, but in other books and in many traditional books, they will tell you that the tanwin drops off because it is already in and of itself definite. Because why? Because here, as you can see, Kitabu Bilalin, this is a specific book which belongs to Bilal. So it is already a definite article, even though you don't add alif walam. Okay, you don't add the alif walam in front of it. Al-Kitabu, okay, it is already a definite article. So that's what some of the traditional linguists, or many of the traditional linguists, say. So that's why we say that it is still definite. Okay, so I take the view that it is still definite because this is how I understand it. And this is how many of the traditional grammarians have presented it. So I take the view that the mudaf is actually a definite article and it's not indefinite. Okay. So anyway, the author says it is wrong to say kitabun bilalil because this points to an indefinite article and it's not. It's actually a definite article. Or to say al-kitabu, okay, al-kitabu bilalin, okay. The mudaf is definite by position. By the fact that it is there in front of the mudafun ilay, it already becomes definite and it doesn't need an alif walam to be added to it to make it definite. Okay, and that is why we say that it is still a definite article. Okay, it is a specific book in this case because it belongs to Bilal. Right? Okay, so the mudafun ilay is in the genitive case. Okay, which means that it is what do you call that? It is something, okay, that is belong. It's something that that owns something. Okay, so it's in the genitive case. So that's why in the genitive case, that means it's this. Okay, apostrophe s. Okay, apostrophe S, the mudhafun ilay is in the genitive case. It can have a tanwin as in the first example. So it can be kitabu Bilalin, and it can also take it can also come in definite form with an alif walam as in the second example. Okay, so the thing that prevents this from being tanwin is not because it is mudhafun ilay, but rather because it is already a definite article but with the attachment of an alif walam here. That's why we say baitul imami. Okay, we cannot say baitul imamin. Okay, but we can say baitu imamin. Okay, so what makes it why do we drop the tanwin here? It's because of the alif walam, not because it's mudhafun ilay. Okay, right? Okay. Okay, please ask questions. No questions? Okay. No questions. Okay, we'll go back, okay, to this lesson. So this is the second time we're going through this same lesson, okay, and I'm going through it because some people have expressed that that it is actually a difficult lesson for them to catch. So we're repeating it, okay. So just we'll go through it again, but we'll go through it at a faster pace, okay, because this is the second time that we are going through it, okay. So Akitabu Muhammadin. So this is the mudhaf ilay. Okay, Akitabu Muhammadin hadha ya Yasir. So this questioner Sa'id is asking, Akitabu Muhammadin hadha, is this Muhammad's kitab? Okay, ya Yasir. So he is just calling out to Yasir. This is a nada. Okay, the nada munadi is saying ya Yasir. So Yasir he answers la. Okay, no, hadha kitabu Hamidin. So again, this is the mudhaf ilay. This is the shahid of the lesson here. Okay. Yasir says, La hadha kitabu Hamidin. No, this is the book of Hamid. Okay. Right. And then Sa'id, he asked another question. Aina kitabu Muhammadin? Then where is Muhammad's book? Okay, kitabu Muhammadin. This is the shahid of the lesson. Okay, mudhaf ilay. So Yasir, he answers, huwa tahtal kitabi hunaka. Okay, it is under the desk there. Okay, so here, okay, this is also part of the shahid of the lesson. Okay, because you may not recognize this as mudhaf ilay, but in Arabic it is in the form of mudhaf ilay. Because remember what I told you earlier on about particles, okay? And I told you that we call the words an wa ala wa min wa ila wa rubba wa bi wa li, you know, all these words, you know, which we call harful jar in Arabic. Okay, harful jar. Sometimes some books and the Medina reader itself, okay, refers to them as prepositions, but they're not really prepositions. You know, you can't really translate it as prepositions, because some prepositions in English, they don't fall into that category. They are actually isim, they are actually nouns insofar as the Arabic language is concerned. Like this word, which means under, okay, which means under. This word tahta, it is actually a noun. Okay, so this is actually in mudhaf ilay form. Okay, so I mentioned that my preference for you to understand it, the way Arabs understand it, is that this is how they would express it. Okay, tahtal maktabi, they would say under of the maktab, under of the desk. Okay, because remember we said that this is either apostrophe s or off. Okay, so you could say that this is the desk under or under of the desk. Okay, huwa tahtal maktabi hunak, there. Okay, طيب. So this is mudhaf ilay. Okay, this is not harful jar. To the untrained eye, they would say that actually what's the difference? It looks the same. It looks the same because when you put a harful jar in front of it, you would also turn this into a kasra, wouldn't you? Okay, ilal maktabi, fil maktabi, bil maktabi, it would give the same effect. Yes, it would give the same effect. But in Arab, you would mention it differently. Okay, because this would be what do you call that? We would call this what do you call this? في محل الجر بالإضافة. We call it في محل الجر بالإضافة. Okay, that this is turned into a kasra because it is in the position of the mudhafun ilay. Okay. Okay. Whereas if it were a harful jar that precedes it, we would say this is majrur, majrur bi harfil jar, whatever that comes before it, fi, bi. Okay. Right. Okay. So that's something for you to note. Okay. Next one, Sa'id, he asked, Aina daftaru Ammarin? Okay. Where is Ammar's notebook? Okay, this is the shahid of the lesson. Okay, daftaru Ammarin, the daftar of Ammar. Okay, mudaf ilay. So now he says, Yasir, he answers, huwa alal maktabil mudarrisi. Okay, huwa ala maktabil mudarrisi. So now, okay, now we use a harful jar. Okay, ala is a harful jar. Okay, which means on or upon. Okay, and this word, it becomes majrur. Okay, it turns into a kasra because it is preceded by the harful jar, maktabil mudarrisi. Okay, maktabil mudarrisi. So these two are not the same, even though it looks like it gives the same effect. Okay, right? Maktabil mudarrisi. So this is also another shahid here, which is this is mudaf ilay. Okay, asal, this is maktab bu al mudar, maktabul mudarrisi. Okay, but this one here, it turns to a kasra. Why? Because of this ala. This is harful jar. Okay, harful jar, it makes the word that follows it majrur. Okay, majrur bil kasra in this case. Okay, it becomes majrur with a kasra. Okay, so this one turns into a kasra. And what about this one? This one is already a kasra because it is mudhaf ilay. Okay, right. So now Sa'id, he asked another question. Qalamu man hadha ya aliyu? Okay, so he is asking, whose pen is this, O Ali? So now this is again the author's attempt to show us that mudhaf ilay, you know, you don't have to have two proper words put together in order to have mudhaf ilay. Even this can be mudhaf ilay. Okay, because now he's saying qalamu, this is mudhaf. Where is the mudhafun ilay? Man. Okay, because man means who. It could have easily been replaced by Muhammad, by Ahmad, okay, by Mahmud, and so on and so forth. So it could be qalamu Muhammadin, or qalamu Ahmadin, or qalamu Mahmudun, okay, Mahmudin, qalamu Mahmudin. It could very well be this, but it's not now, it is unknown, so we say qalamu man hadha. Okay, so this is also in mudhaf ilayh form. Okay, so Ali, he answers, hadha qalamul mudarrisi. This is the pen of the mudarris. Okay, and then Sa'id, okay, he asked a question, aina hakibatul mudarrisi. He's asking, where is the bag of the mudarris? Okay, this means bag. This means bag. This is the mudhaf. Okay, and then this is the mudhafun ilay. Akibatul mudarrisi. Okay, so Ali, now he answers, hiya tahtal maktabi. Okay, this is also mudhaf ilay. This is one of the shahid of this lesson. Okay, this is mudhaf ilay. So just like this word tahta, or it's the same word, not tahta. Okay, so you've learned this word. The other word is fawqa. Okay, fawqa means above. Okay, fawqa means above. Tahta means below. Okay, so both these words, they are the equivalent in meaning, is a preposition in English, but in the Arabic, these are isim. Okay, so when this is an isim, then it becomes mudhaf ilay. Okay, tahtal maktabi. So tahtal maktabi. Okay, and these words, okay, these words never change. The end shackle for tahta and fawqa, okay, they are always fixed. Okay, so we call it mabni. It's just like that. We don't morph it into a kasra or a dhamma. Okay, it just remains like that. Okay, so tahta and fawqa, they just remain like that. So tahta al-maktabi means under of the desk. Okay, right. Okay, with pause. Let us pause for a while here. Anybody has any questions? Fadal.
Ustaz,
Questions?
Ustaz.
Yes.
Okay, you mentioned that tahta is a noun also, right?
Yes.
For example, let's say the question number 3 between Said and Yasir, the Aila, if we were to change to tahta, huwa tahta maktabi or huwa tahta al-maktabi or huwa tahta maktabu. Means there is three, there is 2 mudaf ilai and 1 mudaf. Is it something like that?
Okay, so we're taking this one.
Yeah, means the
So,
Aila, we change to tahta.
okay, so let's do this. Okay. Okay. So this ala, we change to tahta.
Sahih.
Sorry. We change to tahta. Okay. We change this ala to tahta. So your question is that if we change this to tahta, what happens?
Do we add the al or do we change the shakal of the makta to maktabu?
Okay. So yeah, this is a good question. Okay. So if let's say I had already spoken about the maktab before this, you know, I've already spoken about the maktab, that is maktabul mudarrisi. It is the maktab of the mudarris. Okay, before this, and I just want to point to you that this is under a specific maktab. Then that is what I would say. Okay, it is huwa tahtal tahtal maktabi. Huwa tahtal maktabi. Okay, or if it is on, or if it is under any maktab, you know, it's not a specific maktab, so I can say huwa tahta maktabin. Okay, so now imagine that these two word forms that we just mentioned, you know, is replaced by a mudhafun ilay. Okay, the asal of the mudhafun ilay would be what? Would be now in this case, maktabul mudarrisi. Okay, maktabul mudarrisi. Okay, maktabul mudarrisi. Okay, so this shakal, it changes into a kasrah here because of the existence of, in the original sentence, a harful jar. Okay, in our transform sentence, when we replace it with tahta, it transforms or it changes into a kasrah because of the isim that precedes it. Okay, which now makes it mudhafun ilay. So this maktab now, you know what I mentioned just now, you know, this it looks the same. Okay, it looks the same whether you put harful jar preceding it, or you put this zarf. Okay, this zarf, we call it zarf because it relates to the position of things. Okay, so if there is a zarf in front of it, it is still an isim in this case. Okay, so it transforms, okay, from the last shackle transforms from a dhamma to a kasra because of the isim that precedes it. So now it becomes mudhafun ilay. Okay, so essentially what we are seeing is that it looks the same. If there's a harful jar in front of it, okay, the dhamma changes to a kasra because of the harful jar, but now that word form is majrur. Okay, because of what? Because of a harful jar. Okay, whereas if we change it into this, instead of putting a harful jar preceding it, we put an isim like tahta or fawqa, you know, which means under and above, preceding it, it also becomes majrur, but now it is majrur bil idafa because it is from mudhafun ilay. Okay,
Meaning now there is two mudhaf ilai and one mudhaf.
yes, correct. There is okay, so now you have okay, so you imagine that this is one word now. Yeah, this is one word now. Okay, so now when you put tahta, okay, in front, so tahta is the mudhaf. So now it's like as if maktabul mudarrisi is another word on its own. So now this is the mudhafun ilay to tahta. Okay, and within it there is mudhaf ilay, maktabul mudarrisi. Okay,
Marhaba, afam. Okay, jazakallah.
Yeah, so that's and actually you can do this with a lot of things. Okay, you can do this with a lot of things. I think there might be some other examples here as well. I think there's some other examples here as well. Inshallah, we'll go through it. Okay. Yeah. So essentially, there are two. You get two sets of mudhaf ilay, and one, that means the letter set of the mudhaf ilay is of the mudhaf ilay is actually a mudhaf ilay to the first mudhaf. Right. Right. Let's go through this. Okay. So now the author, he mentions Kitabu Man, whose book. Note that man is not in the genitive case because it is indeclinable. It does not change to indicate its function. There are some indeclinable nouns. Okay, we call this mabni. That means they are just like that, and you don't have to change the shakal. Okay, regardless of whatever it is. Okay, they just remain like that. So he calls these indeclinable nouns. He says that indeclinable nouns in Arabic are those which remain unchanged. Okay. And then next point he mentions ala maktabil mudarrisi. So note here that maktabi is in the genitive case. Okay, because of the preposition ala. So now it becomes instead of maktabu, it becomes maktabi because of the harful jar. Okay, this is what we're talking about. And al-mudarrisi is in the genitive case, not because of the harful jar, but because it is mudhafun ilayh. Okay, because it is mudhafun ilayh. So the end product, it looks the same, but actually what makes it, okay, what makes it majrur are two different reasons. Okay, one is because of the harful jar, the other one is because it is mudhafun ilayh. Okay. Okay, right. Next one, tahta. Okay, under, he says that this is a noun. The noun following tahta is in the genitive case because it is mudhafun ilayh. Okay, so no, he doesn't say that it's a noun. I said that it's a noun. Okay, he says that the noun following tahta. Okay, so it is a noun and there's a noun following it, so it becomes mudhaf ilayh. Okay, tahtal kitabi, tahtal maktabi. Those are the two examples that he cites. Okay. Okay, so number 3, he says, ya. What is the function of that ya? We say, ya Yasir. And he mentions below, ya Ustad, ya Sheikh, ya Bilal. Okay, he says, so what's the function of it? He says that this is a vocative particle. We call this in Arabic, we call this harfun nida. Okay, and nida. We call this nida. Nida means to call out to someone. This is nun, dal, alif, and a hamza. Okay, nida and nida. So it is a vocative particle, harfun nida. A noun following ya only has one dhamma. So when you call out to sheikh, you would have to say ya sheikhu, not ya sheikhun, even though the asal is sheikhun. Why? Because you are actually calling out to a specific person, and that's why you're calling out to him. Okay, and later on when you learn nahu, you know that actually it's possible to even say sheikhan and sheikhun. Okay, but not at this level. You just take it that you're calling out to a specific sheikh, so it becomes ya sheikhu, ya ustadhu, ya bilalu, and not ya bilalun. Okay, so that's what he's trying to point out here. And then the words, okay, isim and ibn. Okay, this one we haven't gone through yet, I think. Yeah, this is in the next exercise, so we'll leave this till we have our next lesson, insha'Allah ta'ala. We are here, so let's just go like here. So insha'Allah ta'ala. Okay. Okay, questions? Questions? Okay, we'll move on. Okay, so look at this. Okay, this one you have to do for homework. Okay, there are people who have submitted this from the last lesson that we had. I've not had the time to actually mark it, so inshallah ta'ala I'll try to mark your work, your submitted work as soon as I can, inshallah. Okay, so those who have not done it, you should do it, and then you should send it to me. Okay, you should send it to me so that actually we are sure that you've done it, you've done your practices, and that you understand what the key takeaways are from the lesson. Okay, so it's very simple. He said you just rewrite 2 words in each group so that the second word is in the possessive form, mudhafun ilayh. Okay, so he gives you two words. For example, kitabun and Muhammadun. So how do you make it into mudhaf ilaih? You write it as kitabu Muhammadin. Okay, kitabu Muhammadin. And then next one, maktabun and al-mudarrisu. So you just rewrite it as maktabul mudarrisi, paying attention to the end shakal. Okay, the end indicators for the two words that are put together. Okay, so if we were to do the first one, qalamun and hamidin, we would change it to qalamu hamidin. Okay, I said hamidin. Actually, I should have said hamidun. Qalamun hamidun. Okay, so it becomes qalamu hamidin. Okay, and then next one, miftahun and al-baitu, it would become miftahul baiti. So that's what you need to do for the lesson. Do it for all, okay? All the things that are the entire exercise, and then you can take a picture if you're using a physical book, or if you're using a PDF, you can write it and then just screenshot and send to me, or send to me a PDF or something, you know. But you should do it, okay? You should do it. And then just to get used to saying, you know, mudhaf ilaih, this author, he has done something, he's put two words together, and he wants you to change it into mudhaf ilaih, but this time just vocally, orally to do it. So do this exercise, okay? You can copy it and just write it down on a piece of paper, and then you vocalize it by saying babul madrasati, imarul rajuli, okay, baitu hamidin, sayyaratul mudiri, mindilu ammarin, okay, mindilu ammarin, ismut talibi, baitullahi, fi kitabillahi, min baitil mudarrisi, ala maktabil mudiri. So just vocalize it, you know, and say it, and then you get used to the shackle dropping off. Okay, you see that actually he's deliberately dropped off all the signs, okay, and it is actually for you to practice, okay, for you to practice and to say it, so that inshallah ta'ala it becomes like second nature for you to say it, even though next time you'll see that the shackle, they start to drop off. Okay, we'll give you clues to what they are in the lessons, and then you can do it for the rest of that exercise. Okay, right? Okay, so you have to do this this homework, and then for this exercise Iqra, you just read through. We will go through and explain what it means inshallah ta'ala in the next lesson. Okay, type questions. Awas, okay.
Alhamdulillah. Hello.
Alamak, driving. Okay. Any questions? Father Fadli.
Tak ada question Ustaz.
Tak ada Atas boat ke sekarang?
Tak.
Tak
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, kalau tak ada questions, again, you try to digest, go through it, okay? Go through it, because this is language, you know, if you don't use it, and you don't teach it, you know, you don't attend a lesson in it, it's bound to go away, you know, you're bound to lose it at some point. So you just have to keep on going at it, and inshallah ta'ala you'll get better at it lah. Inshallah ta'ala, ana punya hope is that after we go through books 1 and 2, and we finish the entire Sorf exercises, and then we start a little bit on Nahu, that maybe we can read a simple book. We can read a small book in Akhlaq or in Sirah, and then we look at the word forms, and then you inshallah ta'ala will develop proficiency from there in reading Arabic books. Okay. Okay, if there are no questions, then we'll end here. But please do your exercises again and submit to me. Okay? And I'll send this message out to the ones who are absent today as well. You listen to the lessons and do the exercises and submit it, because this will really help you. Okay, even though you don't understand, even though you're just vocalizing it because it's something that's just programmed to be like that, it's okay, because eventually you'll get there when you do the exercises. So like we mentioned, trust the process. We go through the process, inshallah ta'ala, there is an end in sight. Okay, so inshallah ta'ala we'll end here. We'll recite Al-Fatiha. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us beneficial knowledge, knowledge of the Quran, of the Arabic language, and that we use it, inshallah ta'ala, to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to love the ulama of Islam, to love the books that the ulama have authored for the benefit of the ummah. Okay, and we learn it, and inshallah ta'ala we get to teach it on to others as well. على هذه النية ولكل نية صالحة مع اللطف والعافية يصلي شأنكم ظاهرا وباطنا وإلى حضرة النبي سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم الفاتح. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Okay, we'll see you next week, inshallah ta'ala. Meanwhile, catch up, do the homework. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih, Ustaz.
Sama.
Jazakallah khair, Ustaz.